There are some moments in the life of a leader of an organization that are very special. I consider what I will announce today as one of those special moments. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, a journey took shape that eventually led to the qualification of our national women's senior team to the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. Jamaica therefore became the first Caribbean country to qualify for a senior women's World Cup tournament. As a result of that achievement, a wave of hope and aspirations swept across the country. Young girls saw the opportunity and the possibility that women can, through football, achieve their dreams and change their lives forever. As a result of that achievement, many of our senior women are now playing in leagues across the world and are making an impact for themselves, their career as professionals, and for their country. We are all aware that the next FIFA Women's World Cup will be held in Australia and New Zealand in 2023 during the months of July and August. We also know that the number of qualifying teams have increased from 24 to 32 for that particular tournament. It is well considered assessment of the JFF that Jamaica has an excellent chance of qualifying for that World Cup, making our senior women the only Jamaican team to have qualified for 2 consecutive World Cup tournaments. Ladies and gentlemen, what an achievement that would be. This is an immense challenge for, of course, the Federation and indeed the country. But we are confident that this is a very real possibility. As a federation, we are therefore committed to give maximum support, preparation, and focus to this journey. In doing so, we are particularly conscious of what it will do in the medium term for young girls in Jamaica who will see opportunity and a future in football, thereby meeting one of JFF's strategic objectives of increasing participation in the sport of women's football. I'm very pleased to therefore announce that Jamaica's national women's senior team will play 2 international friendlies in the United States as part of the US Soccer 2021 Women's National Team Summer Series. On June 10, the Reggae Girlz will play Nigeria at 4:38 p.m. Jamaica time. And on June 13, they will play world champions and host the United States at 9:15 p.m. Jamaica time. Both games will be played at the BBVA Stadium in Houston, Texas. Portugal will also participate in the 4-team tournament. The format for the summer series will feature the USA and Nigeria playing 3 matches, while Portugal and Jamaica will play 2. No standings will be kept, and the matches will be treated as friendlies. As we know, the US women's team is the best in the world, and Nigeria, currently ranked 38, is a historic powerhouse and the #1 team in Africa. Our agreement ensures that the teams will play in a highly controlled environment under very safe COVID-19 protocols. We are pursuing having the players in a pre-tournament camp from June 4 to June 8. These 2 games, coupled with all the work the players and staff have been doing since 2019, will kick off at the national level or preparation for the journey down under. It is our intention, of course, to pursue training camps as well as other games before November when the qualifiers are expected to start. The coach will speak on the players and other aspects of preparation. I wish to thank and commend Coach Hubert Busby for the work he has been doing over the past year, keeping track of our players and monitoring new players. To be frank, he has been doing so in this down period for our youth teams as well. I commend his commitment,
morning, Gene.
loyalty, and his forthrightness. Coach Busby has also been working closely with our local coach who assists him, of course, Mr. Xavier Gilbert. Be committed to building a respectful, professional, and transparent relationship as we prepare for Australia and New Zealand. In fact, that is the commitment to all of our national teams. I end where I began, therefore making it very clear the hope as well as the challenge that we face when both our senior national teams have the opportunity for qualification to a FIFA World Cup literally over the same time span. Ladies and gentlemen, I reiterate, over the same time span. I urge Jamaica, the public and private sectors, football fans, parents of young girls interested in football, the media, all in Jamaica and outside of our beloved country, to be a part of this unprecedented and potential history-making opportunity. I want to thank our partners, past and present, Jamaica National, Digicel, Wisinco, SDF, Caribbean Airlines, and the fans for their support, which has played an important role in taking us to this point. I wish to once again publicly thank the ambassador for Jamaica's women's football program, Ms. Sidella Marley, and of course, the Bob Marley Foundation for their unwavering support. Ms. Marley has been represented at all our planning meetings in preparation for the start of this journey and in planning these games in particular. Ladies and gentlemen, we are entering exciting times and we invite you to be as vibrant and excited as we are. May God continue to bless you all as I say thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The next 6 months will be the most significant, I can say, in the history of Jamaica's football, between June and December. All right, we have a tight schedule, so we move forward and we say good morning again to the chairperson of the JFF Women's Committee, Mrs. Elaine Walker-Brown. Of course, Mrs. Elaine Walker-Brown started in football from a tender age. She played football. She was a referee, administrator, everything. So she's a top person. She's a person that we look at when we say Jamaica's football. And we say, welcome again, Mrs. Elaine Walker-Brown, chairperson of the JFF Women's Football Committee. Your time.
The Road to Australia Women's World Cup campaign has launched today. In 2018, our Reggae Girlz created history in the Caribbean in qualifying for the 2019 Women's World Cup in France. This launch symbolizes the beginning of their quest to repeat that they started in 2019, now in 2022, to take us to 2023, to the Women's World Cup in Australia, New Zealand. Despite the Reggae Girlz not being able to play or train together as a team for over a year, we all see how they have taken their rightful place around the world. Some acquiring professional contracts, some has been appointed assistant coach at university, some even assisting with the development of young players by getting involved with academies. As the Reggae Girlz start their journey on June the 10th against Nigeria in Houston, Texas, and on the 13th against USA. We ask for the support of corporate Jamaica and the brand supporters and well-wishers to come on board even more than you did for France 2019. Let us all get ready to support our Reggae Girlz in whatever way as they start the journey on the road to Australia, New Zealand. God bless you all, and let us all get on board as we begin our road to Australia. Thank you.
Let's go to the next speaker. Of course, the Bob Marley Foundation is headed by Sidela Marley. Without her, I don't know where the women would be now. So let's hear Mr. Onaji Bell as he makes his presentation.
Good morning, all. Good morning, Mr. President, members of the GFF staff, and all press here. Good morning, good morning. I shall now read a statement from Ambassador Marley's office, Managing Director of Bob Marley Music, CEO of the Marley Group of Companies here in Jamaica, including Bob Marley Foundation, and of course, our Global Ambassador of the Jamaica Women's Football Program. Okay, these are Ambassador's words. This morning's announcement is good news, not just because it heralds the return of the senior woman to the pitch. We all knew that the hiatus forced upon us by a global pandemic would be a temporary one. Also, not just because the senior woman will be officially kicking off the first phase of our campaign to qualify for the 9th edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup taking place in Australia. We all knew that the historic qualification of 2018 was never meant to be a happy ending, but rather to usher in a new era for women's football in Jamaica. When I came on board as ambassador in 2014 at the invitation of then President, the late Captain Horace Burrell, the goal was never to just reach the Women's World Cup. The vision has always been to devise and implement a system that unlocks the full potential of the God-given football talent we have here in Jamaica by providing a sustainable template for its development. That's a big vision, and it's going to take a lot of work, but it was never meant to be the work of one person or one player, one coach, one president, one federation, or one ambassador. No, building a national program for a national team is the work of a nation. And it begins with the decisions of individuals to come together behind this common vision. Which brings me to the real good news of this morning's announcement. This announcement is a direct result of President Ricketts' idea earlier this year to put together a team that includes members of the coaching staff, the Federation, and my office. President Ricketts and the rest of this group are committed to doing the work necessary to craft a strategy that will give our senior women the necessary tools and opportunities to compete effectively at the highest level of international women's football. As ambassador, I am committed to playing my role as supporter, head cheerleader, on and off the pitch. It is my hope that our combined efforts will prove so attractive that the rest of Jamaica will join us. The road to New Zealand is a long one, and there's plenty of room on this wagon. Thank you. Those were the ambassador's words.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sidela. We'll look forward to a long and fruitful relationship going forward. All right.
Absolutely.
We go straight now to Coach Busby. He has all information that you need. And we say, welcome, Coach Busby. The floor is yours. And just to say that he was on with us earlier. So we don't know what's happening, but he was on with us and he spoke with us earlier. And so obviously this is the vagaries of technology taking place here. All right, I have to take the reins here. So let's go to questions and answers. If Mr. Busby joins us,
I just got news from him that he's having some issues, but he's trying his best to reconnect.
Okay.
So we could go ahead until he actually joins.
All right. So we could go straight to question and answer. Any questions you may have for the president, you could do so now. And when Mr. Busby comes on, you could ask him other questions. So could you raise your hands and you'll be acknowledged, and you can speak with the president.
I don't know how to raise my hand.
All right, go ahead, man. That's Leighton Levy from Sportsman. Go ahead.
All right. First of all, good morning, everyone. The first question I want to ask is of Mr. Ricketts. Sir, good morning again. This campaign is going to cost as usual, but I usually ask these questions because I need to know, and I think the public needs to know. What is it budgeted for the team to get to the World Cup in 2023, and how does the JFF plan to finance those that budget?
Well, we of course are partnering with the Mali Foundation, which is very significant to the welfare of this entire program. So we are, as it is now, having discussions and trying our best to work out how we're going to finance this program. This is the first in a number of prospective plans and events that will lead us, hopefully, to Australia and New Zealand. So we are not yet ready to unveil what the marketing details are. You have acknowledged Shanique. Shanique has just come on board, and she will definitely be part of the process of working on the budget and certainly working on how we're going to raise these funds. But certainly soon we'll be able to give you definitive answers as it relates to the finances and, of course, how we're going to get this program on the way and certainly get to Australia and New Zealand in 2023. Thanks.
I see Coach Busby. I have another question, but I have to Coach Busby's answer. Let me yield to him until he finishes his
Okay.
Coach Busby.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Welcome. Appreciate everybody coming on the call this morning. We're very excited with everything, with the games and camps coming on. So obviously just wanted to, great to see some familiar faces as well. So just excited to get the group back together. The players are excited to come in as well as the staff. So very excited to be a part of get the team together for the next window.
Coach, could you speak to the team itself that you are looking at?
Yes, I mean, if you want to share at this time, but we currently have a lot of the core of the group coming back with 4 new players coming in and a few of our U20s that have done well since our last U20 campaign that have matriculated through the system. So, excited for those players to see what they can do. Part of obviously our program is to continue to push players through, the young players through the next level. So yeah, we're really excited to see these young players, be able to come through and see what they can do. So obviously here's the provisional list of players. As I said, the player I kind of alluded to was Peyton McNamara, came through the U20s, has done really well this year. And as you can see there, one of the most important things for us moving forward was for us to have our players in a professional environment. And that's one thing that we really focus on as well with them and their respective agents, to make sure that they were placed in an environment that would prepare them adequately heading into the World Cup qualifiers. So obviously we're very excited about the group, but also excited about some other potential players potentially coming through as well.
All right, just for the journalists, this list will be sent to you by email as soon as we finish here, so not to worry. And is there anything else that you would want to tell the journalists, Coach Busby?
No, I think just the idea that, you know, I think we're progressing. I think a lot of the things that we're doing in terms of our playing model and identity, you know, it's been a difficult year, as we all know, with the global pandemic. But we've used this opportunity that was for us, even though that we're not together, just to continue to work as a staff, continue to connect with players, continue to have Zoom calls with players to make sure that they know that you know, as a federation, as in a team, that we're very serious about qualifying. And I think, you know, that's bode well for us heading in, because obviously the players are excited and they know that the federation, as well as the ambassador and the foundation, is behind them, and as well as the country, more importantly, the country, because obviously the players are on their own social platforms, continue to get support from the Jamaican public. And so, yeah, we're just excited to get back together and excited for these matches.
All right, let's go to the question and answers. And the first person that was up earlier, Crystal Davis from England.
Can I interrupt? I just had another question. I cannot find out when Crystal comes on. I had another question to follow up with the initial question that I had.
All right, go ahead.
All right, cool. I'm sorry, Crystal, I just get these questions out of the way. All right, so this question, of course, is to both Onaje and, of course, Mr. Ricketts. I want to read to you a comment that was coming from Sedela in a recent interview with the BBC. And it says, it was speaking in reference to the relationship between the foundation and, of course, the JFF. It says it will take some time to change the mindset of people running the Jamaican Federation. I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime or Khadijah's. Do I just sit back and see them do nothing? It will get worse. Hold on, I just lost that. It will get worse before it gets better, because sometimes people need to be exposed. Nothing will change if people aren't exposed. I want to be a force for change. The comments made by Onaje in that statement from Miss Marley would suggest that change is beginning to happen. Can you both speak to whether or not that hatchet has been buried, and what does that mean now going forward in terms of the relationship between the foundation, of course, and the JFF? And those are my questions.
Well, as far as I am concerned, Ambassador Marley and I have never, ever had any issues, never. So the truth is that I have no idea those comments, what direction and exactly whom they would be pointed at. But as far as I am concerned, Ambassador Marley, Mishra, and I have always have an excellent relationship. So I really could not make a comment. All I can say is that as we speak, we do have a proper relationship, and going forward, that certainly will be on show for the entire world to see.
Onaje? Well, I think
Mr. Bell?
I think the president kind of said it all. And I mean, if you wanted any further information on that, I would advise you to email our offices, and we could, you know, see if we can address those issues. But like the president said, I don't see there has been no personal issues, and we're just so happy that we are going forward in this very moment.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's move to Crystal. Good morning, Crystal.
Al. My question is for Coach and the President. So along with this year's summer series, what are the additional plans that have been set aside to ensure that the 2019 World Cup isn't a one-off?
Well, we certainly want to replicate what would have happened in 2019. And we have already put a team in place. And significantly, I want to make it very clear that we have meetings maybe for the last 7 or maybe 8 weeks. Every Monday morning at 9 o'clock, this team meets to ensure that there's the highest level of communication, the highest level of understanding, the highest level of consultation. And we want to ensure that this goes certainly beyond these games in the US in mid-June. So we definitely, Crystal, will be working closely together. And like I said, the entire ambition and aim of the Marley Foundation and the Jamaica Football Federation and the girls certainly will be to replicate the achievements of 2019 and certainly beyond.
Is either yourself or coach able to share what those additional plans look like going ahead with the summer series and beyond that?
Well, certainly they will be unfold, and certainly we have these meetings that we would look at possible ways of ensuring that the highest levels of partnership and planning be at a premium. So we certainly will be looking at playing games, having camps, trying to unearth new talents, have them integrated in our program, just to ensure that we always have the best team on the pitch at all times.
Coach Busby, could you take that one too?
Yeah, just to echo President Ricketts' sentiments there. Going back to what I've said, during this time, it's allowed for us to kind of reconvene, recenter, refocus in terms of what is necessary, and learning, as I always said, history is our greatest teacher. Learning from things that we did really well and continuing best practices, and understanding where we've had some tripwires, where we weren't necessarily at our best in terms of some of the planning going into this. But above everything else, it really comes down to us getting as much preparation, training, planning, being together. It's a lot different, as everyone knows, from a club environment. So bringing, 23, 24 individuals together under one roof and having them all come, work together is a challenge. But we've been able to use this opportunity away to work with the players and help the players in their professional environments to understand that when they come into us, the transition is as seamless as possible.
All right, thank you, Crystal. Let's go to Simon. Simon Preston. Speak with us, Simon.
Good morning, everyone. Early, I have two questions, if that is okay. Firstly, to Coach Busby, as you know, the last time the girls took the field was against St. Kitts last year, some 14, 15 months ago. How delighted are you to have these two friendly matches in store coming up, especially ahead of a crucial World Cup qualifying campaign?
Yeah, it's excited. I mean, we're really excited. I think, we've tried to get and had camps previously, and obviously due to the pandemic and COVID and countries and restrictions, we just weren't able to do that until now. So yeah, we're, as a staff, we're excited. There's going to be obviously some challenges, obviously, for us getting on the same page early on. But again, it's great for us to get back together, and the players are just excited to be representing their country again, and representing the country, abroad, and they're proud to be doing so. So yeah, just speaking to them, earlier today and in the last couple of weeks, just saying, obviously, looking forward to the camp, and they're ready to go.
All right.
Thank you, Coach. And just one more, Earl, if that's all right. Yes, Mr. President Ricketts, you made in your earlier address about a crucial time period coming up, not only for our women, but also the men as well. Do you have any update as yet regarding our boys and in terms of their potential friendlies for the summer before the World Cup?
Well, Simon, we certainly will be making an announcement in this regard next week. We'll be calling you back at a similar setting to make an announcement in this regard, certainly by next week.
Right, Simon, for just so you understand, there is a clause that has to be signed. We can't publicize the games until the other team does. So it's a simultaneous thing, all right? So we have to wait until next week, 11th, before that is done. All right, let's go to Daniel Wheeler. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning, Earl. Good morning, everyone. This is two questions. One first for the coach. Given that you've had to wait, it's been a long time since the girls last played. How pleased are you that your return to international football resolves this high level of competition? with the USA and Nigeria, and how important that is to get the ball rolling on the road to the 2023 World Cup with this strong level of opposition?
Yeah, of course. Well, we have that sort of bravado about us as a country and as a people, and we're going to need it going into these games. Confidence to go into these games for sure. But yes, I mean, we're coming out of the gates after being away from each other, not playing any games, to playing teams. Obviously, the best ranked team in the world, and obviously some teams ranked in the top 40 of the world. So, but this is what it's about. This is what we want. We want to be able to prepare ourselves adequately, because ultimately it's about the World Cup qualifiers. And so, obviously learning from and getting to understand our playing model, working out the kinks, so to speak, so that when we do go into qualifiers, we're a fine-tuned machine. And that's really the objective of these matches. And so why not do so against some of the best teams in the world?
Well, thanks, Coach. And secondly, for the president, I wanted to know when will these discussions begin between yourself and the girls regarding contracts ahead of the World Cup qualifiers, which will start in November. Have they already started, and when are you looking to at least begin and finish them?
Well, a team has been put in place to start the process, both on the side of the girls and from the side of the GFF. So I'm absolutely sure that within a matter of days, the negotiations will start, or the discussions will start.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Mr. Leighton Levy, he said that he had another question. Go ahead, Leighton.
Coach Busby, a quick question. I noticed, I looked at the list and I realized that goalkeeper McLeod, people like Lawrence Silver aren't there. With Coach McLeod taking a job at Princeton as an assistant coach in recent weeks, is she still available for the Reggae Girlz, or has she announced that she's no longer available given the position that she now has at Princeton? And of course, players like Lawrence Silver, and there are others whose names escape me right now, but can you give a sense of where they're at in terms of possibly rejoining the squad, that core players that you mentioned previously?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, congratulated Nicole a couple of weeks ago on her new position, and that's fantastic. Great to see her at such a prestigious school giving back. She's fantastic. No doubt she's going to do well. I wouldn't say, and I don't think she's officially closed the door on playing per se. But again, one of the criteria that we have kind of established is to make sure, especially for a senior women's team, that you are playing at the highest level possible. It's just, that club environment, that day-to-day players looking to earn a spot and keep a spot in the professional environments prepares them, because obviously we don't have an awful lot of time together. And to have that sharpness just requires for those players to do that, which kind of leads into the other players that are doing other things or continuing to play. We haven't closed the book on anyone. We haven't closed the book on anyone. And I think it's important to players to know that there's always going to be an opportunity for them to work their way and prove that they can represent their country. So everyone who's doing well, everyone who wants to do well will be under consideration until they make that official announcement that they've stepped away from the game to pursue another pathway in their career. But until then, everyone who's eligible to play for Jamaica and has represented Jamaica is still eligible to play for their country.